Okay, here we are. I think we got the everything working the way it's supposed to be here. We'll see how things are going here. I'm not sure if everybody can hear me. Yes, we're doing our live broadcast. How are you? Oh, awesome here. What a night having here. I hope everybody's having a good one. Yeah, just on here checking out. Okay, having a little bit of a different show tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to have this just basically an open mic. Idea there being is that anybody's got any anything you want to talk about, any Q&A or any questions you want, we'll kind of ask. And it's the Ask Anything show, because that's kind of where we're sitting with this one. Yeah, just kind of setting up a whole bunch of stuff here, trying to see. Oh, look at that, we've got things in change. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So just thought we'd kind of stay on and do this. Now Del can't be with us tonight. He's kind of hanging out, doing his thing. Got some hanging with the family. It's a good thing to do, and that's pretty much the whole thing. So I know it's Rob's there. Hey, Rob, good to see you. Glad you like that there. Gonna pop this on here and get some things rolling. There we go. Love it when the new technology doesn't cut exactly what you're looking for. So what we thought we'd do this one, as we say, was kind of make this a total open mic night. I hope you can see things well, or see and hear things well. What we're doing is just going to talk about the last week, see how things have been working for you as far as the show, whether you've been liking what you've been experiencing there, and get some ideas as far as where we should be going with some of this stuff. Now, whether you're watching this recorded or whether you're watching the live version here, here's where it stands. Okay, we've got this show that the whole idea of the website VU broadcast and live talk show is to go over some of the crap in the industries. And we say that over and over, but we're trying to repeat that because there's things that we all deal with. Good example here, is, when we've got industries who say, hey, let's use hosting because it's near and dear to my heart. We got hosting people who have hosting, and they say, 99% uptime. What does that really mean when you look at the whole scheme of things? It doesn't mean that your website is guaranteed to be up, or 99.9% uptime is a good one. It doesn't mean your website's going to be up virtually all the time. It's still going to experience downtimes, but in the whole scheme of about an hour or two, a few days a year, that's can still affect you, can still make you feel like, I'm not connected, there's problems. And yet that still falls into the 99.9% uptime category. So it's not a matter of a situation where we're trying to, point anything out or say, people are good, bad, or otherwise. We just want to actually talk about this stuff and say, hey, let's be real. Let's be real about what our industries actually hold, and what kind of stuff is happening there. So here's a neat one. You see, technology is all messed up. What I'm seeing right now is I'm on Facebook. Hey, I got who we got here? Seeing a couple people here are watching the show. Good to see you here. Pavani's there. Gotcha. Awesome. David, saw you there. That's great. Thanks and welcome, guys. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that here is, of course, mentioning about technology and some of the promises that people have. And guess what? Hey, Sandra, good to see you. Parvani as well. Okay. We're not actually seeing the live comments or anything coming through our interface. So I'm on Facebook and doing it. A bit of double time things happening here. So yeah, let's make this an open mic. Let's talk about some of the stuff you want to talk about. Post anything. I can see what your comments and stuff are. I'm not going to be able to pop them up on the screen, but that's okay. And let's talk. So, yep. There we go. Robin, good to see you, Robin. Welcome to the show. So you came on an interesting night where we don't have anybody being interviewed tonight. We're actually keeping this an open mic Q&A, Ask Anything show. So when I say that, I mean, yeah, let's ask anything. Let's just talk about stuff. There's some stuff that's kind of near and dear to me right now that I would really love to gab about. And that is, I guess, how people are using, and I'm Barbara. Good to see you too. And Tim's here too. This is kind of crazy. Everybody's joining on the night that I don't have a guest. Can you believe this? Hey, Rob and I. So here's the thing. I want to talk about some things that notice are happening. We have an election coming up in the next 19, 20 days. As a result, we've got people who have their opinions on who they feel should be elected. I got that. That's awesome. What I'd like to talk about is how that works in conjunction with some things that are near and dear to me. Now, you know that I really work and talk on the branding side of things. Now, as business owners, okay, some of the things that we need to be aware of are that anything that we say, anything that we post, it is online for everybody to see, and it definitely polarizes people. Okay, whether we agree with each other or not, let's take a look at that seriously. Okay, now I know that some of my circles here, there's some things that have kind of happened that people might it's a little fresh and it might hurt a little bit to talk about it, but let's get into this. When we have people who are, like not people, but anybody, any of us are posting things about, where we stand when it comes to some potentially divided issues, what we run the risk of is affecting our business and how people actually deal with us on the business level. Okay. That's something that we've got to be extremely aware of. I honestly don't care what people do and what they talk about in the confines of their own home, with their families, with their friends, that kind of stuff. But when you start posting on social media, you cannot assume that everybody there is your close friend and they're ready to have some really close discussions. Hey, Maria, good to see you. The truth is that anything you post there, it goes online, it stays there forever. Okay, it's something that you're not going to escape, and as a result, you run the risk of my bad. Sorry. New computer. It's touch sensitive and does some weird stuff, man. So anyway, what I say in there is we've got to be careful as business owners what we post and what we do. Hey, Rob, good to see you. We'll be right back here in just a second. And Kara, we just did come back. So here's the thing. As business owners, as people, we've got to be careful how we're posting and some of the things that we're saying online. Okay. I'm glad people have opinions. I really am. But if you are going to voice some of these things, right? And David, good to see you too. If you're going to voice some of your where you stand on political, religious, any kind of potentially dividing issues, be careful as a business owner. Okay. Now, we got lots of people viewing here. Love this. Everybody's jumping on tonight. We don't have a guest. It's wonderful. What's that? Sandra saying, seems like people on social media are getting really harsh and argumentative lately. Thank you. Yeah, and glad we're bringing this up. I'm actually working on a talk about this one. We're looking at about a 45-minute to an hour talk and discussion on this. And you know what? I'd love to hear everybody's opinion on where they stand with this kind of thing. Yes, being argumentative is one thing, but let's be real about it. Unfortunately, we are affected by the things around us. That includes our neighborhoods. It includes our city. It includes some of the things we deal with on the provincial, federal level, North American level, for that matter. So our leaders do affect us, okay, and how they deal with things. We are living in a day and age where, unfortunately, the way it seems to be that people get attention of the public for their votes is to belittle and step on the people on the other side, and they do what they can to say how horrible the other people are, how they do this and that bad. And you know what? We all have things that we've done wrong. Let's be real about that. Okay. And anybody that's going to stand there and say they haven't, I'm going to call BS on that. I would love to hear anybody here, I'm sure everybody that's listening right now and tuning in, we've all done things. Okay. We've all done some things that just, that don't stack up. And if we were to run for public office and try to be elected, in this day and age, it would be brought to the forefront. Okay, we have seen some unbelievable photos and stuff that I know that we might be offended by. Let's be real, but we've got to be careful how we're presenting this. Okay, because where we might be offended, somebody else is going to be offended on the other side. And why aren't we taking care of each other? Why aren't we spending some time and being sensitive to where other people stand? Just because they don't stand with where you do doesn't mean that they're wrong. It doesn't mean you need to not like them or hate them or whatever. it's sad. It's really sad. I'm going to say right now, I've got some very good friends that on a political and religious basis, they believe in things that are entirely different than I do, and they're still good friends. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be. People who take stances and say, that there is an absolute black and white, right and wrong. I gotta question you on that one. Realistically, okay, where I stand politically, let's just cover it. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the current federal government. By all means, that's never been the way I voted. But if I want to take a very serious look at where things are right now with all the leaders, I'm not happy with any of them. I really don't like where any of them stand. I've got things that I'm not happy about with each individual leader where I go, you know what, this is going to be difficult for me to make a decision because, there's areas that let's be real straight with it. It's not that I don't like it. It's I absolutely kind of detest some of the places that they stand. Hey, Carolyn, good to see you. So, Carolyn, normally Dell's here with me. This is funny, right? So you can tell him that I'm talking politics just to kind of mess with things because we don't have a guest tonight. So what I'd like for you guys tonight is I'd love to hear some of your opinions or some things that or maybe even some questions, okay? Some questions that you want to talk about. Ask me anything. I am keeping this total bare, and I have no problem answering any of the questions anybody might have. And I don't care if it has to do with politics. I don't care if it's religion. I don't care if it's just on how I'm feeling. I'll be quite frank. I'm in a really, really good mood. I had an amazing weekend, and I'm just going to share this until I get some questions. So you're either going to hear me continually talk tonight, or you're going to ask some questions and I'll answer them. So here's what it is. I had a phenomenal weekend. Took an advanced speakers program, and it wasn't what you think. Okay, what it actually entailed was a lot more of inward work. It comes down to. I know Sandra's listening to this. She's gonna love this part of the conversation. So the inward part being, really, really dealing with where we are personally, the things that actually hold us back on the speaking level is what we're talking about. But one exercise that we did, which was very revealing, was to look back into our past, go year by year, from as far back as we can remember to present, and go through the different things that may affect us as far as negatively, or may affect how we are potentially held back in the way we talk or present things. And it was quite the exercise to go into and then have a look at the succession of things all the way through and look and see that, wow, I'll be quite honest with you. A lot of the things that came up for me were rejection. What a thing for someone who's into entertaining and public speaking and standing out in front of people and doing this to fear rejection. Okay. Now, I wasn't necessarily fearing it, but it's something that because of what I had in the past, it's very likely affecting how I do things. So what a way to look at things and kind of get, open your eyes to see some of the amazing things that can happen or have happened in your life, and be able to take that, own it, accept it, and move from there. So what ended up happening there is I came out of the weekend with a total brand new fire, to be quite frank. Then did a presentation today to a same group that I'd done a presentation to the previous week, and had them going, wow, what a difference, which I was really, really very, very happy to see that. Hey, Rob's got one here. He says, what about how is business doing no matter what type of business? How is it going? Good question, Rob. I'd love to hear how people are doing right now in your business. So we got several people online watching right now. I see Maria, like I said, David, Sandra, Carolyn. We've got Parvani. We've got a whole bunch here. Tim, Barbara, Robin. I'd like to hear how your business is going. Give me something here. Why? Let's face it, in Calgary, we are going through some tough times. There was speculation at the beginning where I'll be curious. I had some people actually approach me and say, hey, things are looking a little freaked out here. Things are getting difficult. What's going to happen? And I said, honestly, it's going to be good because a lot of people are going to start new business. Robin says she's feeling okay about it. I love that. Hey, Angela's joined in. Awesome, Angela. Good to see you. Angela, aren't you supposed to be at a meeting? Anyway, but now that we're gone several years into this economic dip, we're in a position right now where I'm starting to see it hurt more and more people. I'm hearing that a lot of Calgarians are having difficulty making ends meet and even feeding themselves on a regular basis, which is tough to hear. Now, Parvani says something about social media is taking over our life. We need to slow down. You know what, Parvani? Yeah, gotta agree with you on that. I think on the social media side of things, now let's face it, I'm using social media right here. So it's kind of a bit of a, I guess a little bit of an ironic statement if you want to get down to it. But you know what? Actually, I'm going to challenge on that, Parvani. I'm going to say I don't think it needs to slow down, but how we use it needs to be talked and discussed better. It's being used in a bad way. Okay, we're using it to try and influence people instead of just having conversations. We're using it to try and push our social and whatever agendas instead of discussing our differences and being okay with that. That's something that is just so prevalent in social media that it's scary. We all know that we come to a point, whether it be our business or the things that we believe, or social or our personal lives or whatever, we come to big realizations and I guess apexes in our lives and things that work for us. Okay, and Parvani says we need moderation. Agreed. Here's a question for you, Parvani. How do we moderate? That'd be a question, because who's going to be responsible for that? Because ultimately, then there's a lot of power in somebody else's hands. Now that said, okay, so when we get comfortable with something, okay, so we figure something, let's look on a business level. When you find some solutions that work for your business, we get excited. We want to share it with people and say, hey, ABC worked for us. This is awesome. You should try it. The truth is, it may not work for somebody else. And it's not up to us to make people do things the way that we want to, make people think the way we want to. It's up to us to give them the tools and give them the information that they can actually help themselves with and make decisions. An interesting way of coming around. Back to the course, to the program I was on this weekend. It was not set up in such a way that it was for everybody to do what the instructor said exactly, and the only way that she said. It was to find themselves in the midst of it and do it the best way that they could, and then we would kind of go through and fine tune how we approached it. So I think that is a huge positive example on how we can work things as far as working with each other and doing things in such a way that is supportive. So I can't disagree on the moderation, but it's tough to do that. I think we need to be wise enough and mature enough to self-moderate. Some of the things that we see, and again, it happens around elections all the time. I have had good friends unfriend each other and stuff online because of taking severe stances or extreme stances. I've had some people not just on the friends side, but get personal. When you're saying, "Hey, I believe that you should vote for this party." No, you should vote for this party. Yeah, well, you're a jerk and you're an idiot because you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, whoa, why did it get personal? People have different approaches. I can tell you actually a debate that I had with someone online. We were talking about, hey, Tracy, good to see you, man. One of the things that we had, a debate that I had online with somebody last federal election, we were discussing fiscal responsibilities. And I am big when it comes to being fiscally responsible. I like to work with, and I like to make sure that I have my bank account is balanced properly, that I'm paying my bills proper, that I'm not running a deficit. And when I have a government that does that, it bothers me. Now, conversely, the other person said, in business, you need to you run deficits. You have to get loans in order to grow, or else you'll never grow, and will always be small businesses. Well, you know what? There was a point there, and I had to admit, that is an interesting point. But I do believe that there's a better way of doing it than just simply spending your way out. That's me. And I'm not looking for people to join me and jump in and agree and say, yeah, Greg, you're right, and the other person's wrong. By all means, they had a good point, and from where their standpoint and their experiences and what they've done, and maybe in their lives, that it worked, and that's an awesome thing. Doesn't mean it works for everybody. So, how is the best way to deal with that? You know what? Let's just nail it. My co-host that's here. Every other week here, he has a very different political views than I do, and we're best friends, and there's no problem with that. Okay, That's the way it should be. You should be able to have those debates and discussions without being offended and avoiding each other or hating each other. And it's a really, really tough thing to see happen. It makes me sad, to be quite honest with you. So that's a little bit about where I'm standing with this stuff. So anybody that's on there, if you got anything you want to talk about, anything, what I did too, if you want to get down, I'm gonna actually hold on a second. I'm going to copy the link to the broadcast. We're going to paste it in the. There we go. We're going to paste that in our feed, in our comments. If you'd like to come and join live on the broadcast, love to have you here and have a good discussion together. Okay, I think it could be a lot of fun. Maria's got a question. What recommends do you have when people have the need to express their opinion? Awesome question, Maria. Thank you. Wow, that's good. Honestly, when people feel the need to express their opinion, I think I can be big enough to let them do it. I don't care if I agree with them or not. I think I can be big enough to let them go ahead and express that opinion. What I will do is I will potentially caution them on the method that they use, or the media, or what they use as their stage. Okay, and I say that very specifically, Maria. You know why? Stage, right? But realistically, we are allowed to have opinions. There's nothing wrong with having opinions, and there's nothing wrong with them differing from each other. And I think we need to listen to each other, and that's how we grow. We need to understand that we are not perfect, that we may have an opinion that could be wrong. You're talking to someone right now, and here's something that a lot of people don't know about me, especially that watch this broadcast, is that, okay, so for 13 years, I was a youth pastor, okay? I taught Sunday school, and I ran a rather large program. And I used to say to the kids on a regular basis, I want you to have the freedom to ask questions. I want you to have the freedom to disagree with what I'm saying. I am sound in where I stand, but I'm open to being wrong. And and I'm not saying that that's something that don't impose my thoughts on that, but I do believe it's important. We need to be comfortable with being wrong. We really, really need to be comfortable with being wrong. Because hey, Dan's joined up too. Maria says, "Wow." No, but really, in life, we're never going to be perfect. Okay, I think people. I don't know how many things I've heard when it comes to businesses. They say that I've failed in my business decisions more than anybody who's never tried has ever, or more than any new person in business has ever tried, and that's what makes me successful. Well, I think that actually applies to life too. The more that we go out there, the more that we discuss and kind of stand in our thinks and beliefs, but being open to be wrong, I think the more we're going to learn and grow. Sandra's got a good one here. She says there seems to be a lack of social in social media. Oh, interesting. To me, it seems that so much is me focused. What I can get out of it, I cringe. Oh, wow. I like that. I cringe a lot now when I see social media campaigns, as I don't have a lot of trust around intention. It's tough because it can be such a powerful medium for promoting small business. Thoughts? Wow. Parvani's got a good one, and it actually plays in it. Being wrong makes you grow. Yeah, very good, Parvani. I'm 100% with you on that. Social media campaigns. Okay, you know what? I've got to say, and of course you're hitting me big on this one. It's a really good one. Thanks, Sandra. Let's face it. What I do is in the marketing vein. So in the marketing vein of things, social media campaigns, angling things properly is part of what I do. Okay, I do things so that people will receive it the best way possible. It is very powerful. There's no question there. And because of the fact that most of the things that we do, whether it be social media, websites, or any marketing materials, they are geared to, let's be real on it, manipulate the people that are receiving the messages so that they will take the action that we want them to take. I'll tell you a little bit of a story that maybe will explain where I'm coming from on this, and I hope people understand that. I'm going to be real. There's going to be some people who are solely money focused that are going to hear this and think this is ridiculous and I'm an idiot, and that's fine. Back when I was in college, my copywriting prof came to me right near the end, so I was almost done my courses, and she said, "I've got a job for you." And that job is is doing copywriting at an ad agency. Now I was in Toronto, so it was on Bay Street. This was a big ad agency, okay? And I had to look at her and say, that's awesome, but no thank you. And she looked at me like I was insane. And the reason she did, of course, is that having a job with an ad agency, Bay Street, Toronto, that's going to be some big bucks. Okay, you're going to make some money. Maybe not initially, but it's going to carry you through and do some amazing things for you. And yeah, I said I couldn't do it. And the reason I couldn't do it is that I would be forced to be making people think they need or want and need things that they really didn't want and need. That's what a good copywriter can do. Okay, that's what they do, is they write and they set things up in the ads and the marketing side of things so that people go, oh wow, and they buy they buy in. So there's your powerful medium right there. There's how it can be used to manipulate people. Okay, straight up. I like to think that there'll be a lot more people out there that would look at that now. And I do believe that we are in some times of change where our generations are looking at things now and are changing. Hey, Andrew, good to see you, man. That opinion, the way that we approach things is starting to change in our society, that people are starting to look at things and go, you know what, let's stop manipulating things. Let's stop putting a nice shine on things so that people buy it or will believe us. It's not going to fully change because there's humans involved, but I think things are changing and evolving into something different. I'm hearing different things. You hear complaints about the millennials and stuff, but there's some really good things happening there too. As far as being open to and seeing that business and I guess that, big business is starting to appear more social. We're trying to figure out how to deal on a relationship basis with people instead of working things on a purely sales level. Sales matter. We have to survive. We're in a capitalist society, so we kind of have to. But ultimately, I think we're getting more accustomed to doing well and being okay than let's make it rich off the backs of everybody else. And I'd like to think it's going that way. So that's my basics there. Yeah, so I don't know. What are your thoughts on that one? That was a good one there. Thanks, Sandra. Hey, AJ joined. Wow, getting more and more people joining for this broadcast than we ever had, and we actually just have me talking. I hope you guys are good. Lou, oh wow, Lou is all the way. Luis, he's all the way from Ontario. Good to see you, man. Sandra's got another point coming from ad and communications. She totally gets what I'm saying. And as I know, okay, what's your strategy with clients to get the authentic core that appeals to real people apart from you being a magician? Awesome question, Sandra. Thanks for that. Thanks for the plug. That's a really good question. And you know what? I guess it starts with the interview process for me. The interview process starts with, Rob says we all make mistakes all the time, but it's important how you handle it. Absolutely, Rob, 100%. You nailed it, man. So how I deal that with what Sandra's saying is like, when I'm getting clients to get that authentic core that appeals to real people, straight up, it starts with my interview process with them. It's Miguel. Yes, Luis. Yes, love it. My interview process with them is I interview my clients, okay? And I decide whether I'm going to take them on as a client. Because if they're not real, they're not actually do things and they care about the people that they deal with, I, quite honest with you, won't work with them. And I am pretty confident that I do some phenomenal work for people. Because it's not just establishing good websites and branding. It also has to do with setting up, them for success and having someone that is, aligned with what I do. And working together that way is kind of key to starting that process for getting that real, solid, authentic core that appeals to real people. Okay, treating people well. I won't work with people that don't treat people well, straight up. And I make sure that that's known. I talk to my clients that way. Now, when I have a client that we're working with, we want to present something, it doesn't become just a sales approach. It becomes an approach on how can we reach people to show them how you care and you make a difference in what it is that you do, whatever the business may be.